Watch out, man. They're ready to play.
8 seconds. In the corner. Franco left all alone. Nichols to Franco. Going to take the long one. Oh! Lets it go. He's got 3 people down there. The ball's up in the air. Caught. Touchdown.
Welcome in to the first hour of Varsity Focus Live with your hosts, Greg Hammond and Brandon Shields.
Welcome into Varsity Focus Live. Greg Hammond and Brandon Shields in studio with you. Brandon, we have quite a show for our faithful listeners.
Is this our biggest show yet?
You know what? Jabari Greer's not on it. But it's pretty
So you're
big.
not going to think so automatically?
So it's pretty big.
Nah, I don't know if it's our biggest show because we've had some big shows, but, I mean, this is a big one just because it's... Dude, I'm talking.
Sorry about that.
But, you know, just a lot of stuff going on this week, and we got a lineup of strong guests this week, too.
So, Brandon, if you would, let our listeners know what we have on tap.
As far as guests?
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll have our first guest. Pretty much at 6:45 on, we're going to have guests pretty much every segment. 6:45, we have Donnie Nicky, who is involved in one of the big breaking stories of today, which we'll get to in just a minute if you haven't heard about it. At 7 o'clock, top of the hour 2, you have an interview with...
Too Real Chris McNeil.
Where'd he go to school?
Jackson Southside.
Jackson Southside.
Yes.
No, but it's a good interview. For those that may not be familiar with Chris McNeil, he was a member of the state championship basketball team from 2 or 3... Has it been 3 years since they won?
2014.
2 years, okay.
Yeah.
3 years since Humboldt won. 2 years ago, he was part of the state championship team. Went to Western Kentucky. After the season ended, his coach resigned, and he was no longer a part of the team ever. So
we get into that.
Yeah,
that's discussed.
Kind of get into some insight into his future. At 7:20, those of you who get your local sports news from the television.
Noticed a new face here recently?
Yeah, a young man by the name of Ahmad Hicks. He will be on at 7:20, which, by the way, if you get your local sports news from TV and you think you don't need it from the newspaper, that's like saying you get your food from the supermarket and we don't need agriculture.
I mean, who would say that?
Oh.
That's ludicrous.
Yeah, I know. And also at 7:40, I have an interview with Matthew Gillespie with the TSSAA, and we'll kind of talk about this is a year for reclassification. That process will really start in June, so we'll kind of get into how that whole process happens. And by November, we'll be announcing, I won't be announcing. I'll be publicizing.
If it's Periscope, you'll announce.
Yeah, I guess I could Periscope it. But we'll have they'll be announcing for the next 4 years what schools will be in the same districts, and even if football and basketball will be on the same classification style, because they're not right now. And he will get into Milan assistant principal Greg Scott. He's on the board of control now, and since he's been like the day after he was elected to the board, he was on 93.7 in Milan, talking about one of the things that he really wanted to get a conversation started about was expanding the number of classes for sports besides football, because not every school sponsors football, but for some reason football has 3 more championships than any other sport. So talk with Matthew about that, about the perspective from the TSSAA board. And speaking of people I know in Gibson County, nice to know Bradley Owens is listening to us.
Bradley's a good guy.
He is.
I've listened to him several mornings on the way into work. Brandon.
Yeah.
Today, Northside hired a new head coach.
That's some of the big There's been 3 big breaking news stories in the last 36 hours.
Is it true that I was one of the first people to know because we just happened to be together during about an hour this morning?
I would think so, yeah.
It was breaking news.
It was like as I was walking in the door to record the interview with Gillespie.
Yeah.
Like, I had to delay calling Gillespie because I had to get the story up on the web.
My friendship with you
We're not friends.
gives me the my professional relationship with Brandon.
The fact that we are aware of who each other is.
Right. Brandon, so I immediately want to know, okay, they've waited 3 months, Northside has.
2.5. February 3rd.
3 months.
Yeah.
Might as well have been 3 months. I mean, you can round up.
It was about 80 days, yeah.
3 months. Okay, who is this person that I've never heard of, maybe from out of town? Surely, the waiting was worth it, and they probably dug through resumes and went out and hired somebody that's got an amazing resume, a winner, tons of experience. Who is this man or woman?
Donnie Nicky is he's a former Titans, Tennessee Titan player.
And I think, wait a minute, I've heard that name before. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So, to be honest, I went from mild excitement because, let's remember, I'm a Southside grad, and you're talking about Northside football. So, it was mild excitement.
Right.
You said Donnie Nicky, and I was like, wait a minute. I've heard that name before. So, I guess I was a little confused that it wasn't someone outside of the area. Because, technically...
Yeah, Nicky was inside the area. He was an assistant coach at USJ this past year.
Right.
His wife is from Jackson, and they moved back here last year, and he was helping coach at USJ. And they liked what he could bring to the table. That is Northside football, and so now he's the head coach. Okay,
if you don't mind, Brandon, sell this hire to me because right now, as a fan. I don't know. It's just, I guess I'm confused. If the guy was essentially in-house or in the county.
Yeah, in the county.
One, what took so long? Because it almost makes it seem like, well, the guy they wanted wasn't available, so then they may have gone with the number 2.
Yeah.
But anyway, sell this hire to me because I know he has a resume. 8-year vet with the Titans.
Coached about BGA for a few years before they moved out here.
Championship caliber career at Ohio State, the Ohio State University.
He was on their 02. He may have been a captain on their. I know he was a captain. I'm not sure if he was a captain the year that they won it in 02.
Right.
When they beat Miami in the Fiesta Bowl.
So given the resume, I mean, it's an exciting hire in that regard. I guess I'm just. What took so long if you hired somebody who was here?
Well. I'll be honest with you. I was going to ask the principal, Jason Bridgman, that question. But here's the problem with trying to get a hold of Northside right now. I actually meant to tweet about this today. If you go to the TSSAA and you look up their phone number,
okay,
or if you just go to the internet and look up the phone number for Northside High School,
sure,
and you call that number, you will get the voicemail for some girl named Brandy.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Is she a fine girl?
I don't know.
2 points, Hammond.
But maybe only 2. Anyways,
he's in it.
So wasn't able to talk to Bridgman. The only quote I got was from the release he sent out. Brandy never answered the phone either, so I couldn't get any comments from her.
So this is the phone that's online?
Yeah.
Really? Like on the website? I guess I should.
And on the
do the neighborly thing.
Can we call that like right now? Can we call the
number?
Sure
we can. Do it.
All right. Talk while I look up.
While Brandon's doing that, remind you we are live here on YouTube. Our guest today, we'll talk to Donnie Nicky, the new head coach of the Northside Indians, and I'm interested in hearing from him. I again, that's nothing against him. I was just confused that it took so long considering he was here, but the guy's got a pedigree. He's got a resume.
I'll be honest with you, and I'll bring this up with him when we talk to him in about 40 minutes. But he's never been a head coach before. So,
true.
Which at one point neither was Nick Saban or Urban Meyer.
So, at one point,
yeah. So, what makes them think they're going to be successful?
And then you wonder, just because it's talk radio, and this is what we do. I mean, we ask questions. Is there an assistant coach over there with experience at Northside that maybe thought, I kind of thought I had it? Or maybe some Northside fans thought, well, Coach fill in the blank has been with us for a while. And
I had heard there had been a couple who had applied for it. Now, whether they actually got the interview or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we have a call coming in.
Really?
Shall we take this before I call Northside or Brady?
Sure. I don't think I've been too mean. Caller, welcome into Varsity Focus Live, show number 41.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good. How about you?
Excellent.
Oh, good. Brandon, I just like to, if you didn't have the guy with you,
Yeah.
this show could go national.
Oh, wow. I'm horrible.
Greg, this is Wesley.
Wesley Stanford.
What's going on, Bubba?
Wesley was our sophomore quarterback at Southside.
Well, I'm glad Wesley recognizes my ability and my talent.
I recognize true talent.
And you know it's not Greg.
Oh, that's terrible.
But no, I'd like to say, really, I never miss y'all's show, and I'm so glad that there's another option to local sports talk, especially when you don't like the other option.
I was going to say, there are other options.
Be nice, Wesley. Be nice.
Oh, I got you, baby. I got you. But I just want to, like I said, Greg, me and you go way back.
We do.
And, if I'm not in the truck, I listen to y'all and tune in. But I'm just glad y'all are doing this.
Well, I appreciate that. And I'm not going to, I got friends at the other stations and stuff. Yeah. But, I like to think that if you want to listen to local sports being discussed, West Tennessee, that we're the show to listen to.
Dadgummit, Wesley, what took you so long to call in, man? I mean, this is show 41.
I've tried.
This is show 41.
I've tried there, Chief.
Sometimes you don't answer the phone, Greg. You just keep talking.
I guess.
I think he has caller ID, and he knows the number. And so he knew what was going to be a discuss.
So Wesley, have you been keeping up with sports here lately? I don't know if you cover or follow Major League Baseball. Local kid Drew Hayes is now with the Reds. We'll talk to the new sports anchor at WBBJ. If you watch TV, some people don't. Some people just read the Jackson Sun. So,
well, I watch. What sports I prefer, but baseball. This is the time of year I watch baseball.
Right.
Because it's pre-draft and all that. But, I'm more interested in, like you were talking about earlier, what took so long if he was the guy, what took so long to hire him at Northside?
Maybe he didn't put in his application until a month ago.
I think Brandon's playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, I'm just interested in that.
Because I think anyone remotely interested in high school football in West Tennessee found out within a week or two when Tab Vell left. I mean, because it was in the local media.
Right.
And two, if you follow sports, surely you got wind of it because the guy's been around a long time.
Well, of course, and you know how big, it could have been a bigger announcement and made a bigger splash. A former Tennessee Titan, it just, I'm like you, Greg. This was, for lack of a better term, this is the best of a bad situation.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't get who they wanted, so they got who was left.
And I don't think he says that to be mean. He's basically repeating what I said.
No.
It's just that, you didn't expect to hear a name you knew when you waited this long.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this, Wesley. Let's say you're the guy. Let's say you're Donnie Nicky. And just, again, complete transparency. You and I both went to Southside, okay? And you know the rub when you're a public school player and, the guy's coming from the private school. Right or wrong, you know the rub. So here's the coach coming over from USJ. We don't really know this guy. He has a name, but we don't really know him. It's been 3 months. What took you so long to get here? We have other coaches on our staff that maybe we would have preferred. Why should we like you? Now, Wesley, you're Donnie Nicky. What do you say to these guys? Do you name drop? Do you throw out your resume that you played at The Ohio State, that you were with the Titans? What do you do?
I would just say, give me some time, and my wins will show that I'm worth the hire.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because, Greg, you know as well as I do, you can't, if you're in a public school, you are not going to like a coach coming from a private school, especially if you're a senior and you've had the same defensive coordinator for 3 years.
You wouldn't like him when he flashes his national championship ring and he wears his authentic Titans jersey with his own last name on the back of it?
Well, I'm not a Titans fan, so it wouldn't bother me. It wouldn't
says the Niners fan.
Okay,
yeah, I'm a 49ers fan.
Okay, if being a Niners fan, if Joe Montana had come and coached Southside football,
I would freak out.
Exactly, and that's kind of which goes back to the original question that Greg asked. If they like this, if they like the name for that purpose, why wait 2 months and 18 days to make this hire? But
so if you're Donnie Nicky, do you wear your championship rings, or does that rub people the wrong way? What do you think? Brandon? You wear your rings?
I wouldn't.
I know some guys. I know some guys here on the local level. They'll only put their rings on like during the football banquet. It's not an everyday thing.
Yeah.
I would do, because Greg, my personality, and I can't. How I feel about myself, I can't say on air.
Thank you.
But but I would show everybody, and I'd say, give me some time, and y'all could have one.
Yeah.
If he met with the team today, I guarantee you he was wearing one.
Because he's selling himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he didn't, I mean, he'd be doing himself a disservice.
He probably didn't wear it when he was talking to the coaches for the first time, but those kids, oh, yeah.
Well, if you're Donnie Nicky, how soon do you reach into your contacts and call up an Eddie George for – they've already had spring practice, so you can't really use it there. How soon do you do that, Brandon? I mean, Eddie George is the first name I think of.
When I had my first fundraiser banquet.
Okay.
Eddie George, Jim Tressel, Jeff Fisher. I would even go for Mike Munchak.
Right. And again, okay, so from a community standpoint, that's great. From a fundraising standpoint, that's great. But you got to remember, if he's 16, 17 years old, I mean, does that 16, 17-year-old guy know who Mike Munchak is? Or Jim Tressel, for that fact? Because now you're reaching back to the early 2000s.
If he says, hey, guys, this is the coach that led my team to the national championship,
right.
I'd like to think that, okay, they'll be like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But if he's doing it for a fundraiser, he ain't doing it for the kids.
Right.
He's doing it for the guys who will pay $50, $75, $100 for a plate to listen to a national championship coach from, granted, 14 years ago, talk because the football fans around here still recognize and care about the history.
It does make the booster club's job a bit easier.
Oh, most definitely. But Eddie George would be a relevant name for the kids too.
Yes, right. And that's kind of why I was. Yeah.
And if as far as like calling somebody for the kids, I would do that yesterday.
Oh wow.
Get stuff lined up as soon as possible. The first day they can have an organized practice, I'd have somebody there.
Now, Brandon, correct me if I'm wrong, but have they had spring practice?
I was told that they were going through it a couple of weeks ago.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I thought I meant to get out there and kind of do a story about, hey, you have no coach, but you're going through spring practice.
Right. So then there would still be, I guess, fourth block weightlifting or conditioning.
No, because they don't have fourth block PE.
Wow, you're right.
They don't.
No, surely they do.
No, the city of Jackson does not have fourth block PE.
No, wait a minute. No, it's weightlifting.
Yeah, after.
No. It's fourth block weightlifting.
Not for everybody.
For the champions, it is. Hey, Wesley, for the stellar programs, it is.
That's right. I guess the only ones that actually care about results have fourth block weightlifting.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to get off my homer seat and be a professional.
I'll let you go finish listening.
Wesley, nothing about UFC?
Oh, I love UFC.
I mean, you're losing one of your greats. You didn't want to say anything about
I thought he announced he was coming back.
Oh, did he?
You talking about Conor McGregor, right?
Yeah.
It's a money play. That's all it is.
Okay. Now, Wesley may be the first guy to call in and talk UFC, so I was trying to give him
like he's turning into the Brett Favre of MMA.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I'm leaving. No, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good night.
Hey, Wesley, thanks, man.
I love you, brother.
That is my good friend. We graduated together at Southside, class of '98.
Okay. Shall I call this number? I still want to call this number.
Yeah, go ahead. Is that Brandy?
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be Northside. Okay, look. Okay, that's the number.
Let's see, hold on. You were on TSSAA.
Yeah.
Okay, TSSAA website.
All right.
the number for Northside.
Yeah. Is the phone working?
Sure.
There we go.
There
All
we
right.
go. Brandon's proving a point here. He's attempting to call Northside.
This is Northside's number, y'all.
Now, obviously, I'm going to make this correction tomorrow.
Hi, this is Brandy. Sorry I missed your call. Please leave a voicemail, and I will return your call as soon as I get a chance. Thank you.
After the tone, please record your message. When you finish recording, hang up or press the pound key for more options.
Hey, Brandy. This is Brandon Shields of the Jackson Sun and the VFL radio show on 96.5 WBFG. Your phone number is listed as Northside's phone number on the state high school website, so you might want to call Northside and get them to change that, although I'm not sure how you contact them because you're just calling yourself. So, but anyways, heads up.
Let her know to listen Thursday nights.
Be sure to listen Thursday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. on 96.5 WBFG.
Thanks.
And read jacksonsun.com and pick up a copy of the Jackson Sun print edition each morning.
If you'd like to see Brandon, you could go to our... Okay. All right.
I'm married.
Good night.
That just happened.
Yeah. Was it sophomore? Yes.
But
was it good radio? I'll say it was.
I'll let you say it.
It is 6:19, Brandon. We owe them a break.
We owe them a break? All right. Break.
I blame Wesley. We're 1 minute over. I blame Wesley.
All right. Break. We got a call coming in. Caller, if you would stay there. Actually, that may be Brandy.
Yeah,
let's go to break and I'll answer it.
This is Varsity Focus Live on WBFG.
Ram Truck Month is on at Helms Motor Company in Lexington. Helms has the largest selection of Ram truck in West Tennessee with new Ram 1500 Crew Cab with up to $11,000 off MSRP or 0% interest for up to 60 months. Helms has the largest selection of Ram Heavy Duty in West Tennessee, including Ram 2500, 3500 with either Hemi V8 or Cummins Diesel. They have a huge selection of new Jeep, Dodge, and Chrysler models like the all-new Cherokee starting at $21,995, new Chrysler 200 starting at $19,995, and huge selection of Dodge Charger and Challenger at the lowest prices of the year. We have over 100 quality pre-owned models on the lot at all times with prices and payments to accommodate any budget. We have a large number of vehicles starting under $10,000, and we have one of the largest selections of pre-owned trucks in West Tennessee. With over 250 new and pre-owned on the lot at all times, Helms is sure to have something for you. Remember, you can shop our entire inventory online 24/7 at helmsmotor.com. Hurry in to Helms Motor Company to take advantage of all our specials and save big today because these offers won't last long. That's Helms Motor Company with over 50 years experience helping meeting your needs at Highway 412 East in Lexington. Call 888-234-2057 or see them all at helmsmotor.com.
Down here you wouldn't really call us wine country. We're not known for our opera singers like Italy. The surfing here isn't really great. Neither is the yacht racing. Scares the fish away. We don't make great kung fu movies. Heck, we don't even have a Loch Ness monster. What we are known for here is turning strangers into friends and making connections that last. I guess you could call it the local industry. It's what First Bank is famous for. Sure, people like the accent, but it's what we put the accent on that shows we're a real community bank. Local decision-making, checking with rewards instead of fees, a real person at the other end of the phone line, people who believe in you, and the places where we live. Down here, we make good neighbors, which is what makes us great bankers. Plus, if you stay for dinner, there's always pie. Switch to Southern-style banking at First Bank, where the accent is on you. Local since 1906, member FDIC.
Here's some good policy from your local independent agent and Auto Owners Insurance. When you insure your home and car with us, you receive a multi-policy discount. And when you add Auto Owners Life Insurance, you get a special discount on your home and car insurance. Auto Owners Insurance will save you money on all of the insurance you already have. Now that's good policy. Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people.
See Maddox Insurance Agency in Camden, McKenzie, Jackson, and East Main Street in Huntingdon.
At City Drug Company, we keep computerized records of all your prescriptions to help you with your taxes and to assist you in filing Medicare and insurance claims. We also specialize in the compounding of your special prescriptions. We also fill veterinarian prescriptions. Come to City Drug Company and see why we're your friend and pharmacy.
We want to be your friend and pharmacy.
City Drug Company, 630 R.B. Wilson Drive in Huntingdon.
Did you know that bestcolleges.com recently ranked Bethel University's online programs the second best for a Christian liberal arts university in the United States? But did you also know that Bethel University offers an on-campus experience for traditional undergraduate students and that these programs have earned recognition for excellence as well? Recent high school graduates, call today. Let us help you take that first step toward your future. Call 1-844-497-0265 to get started.
Welcome back to Varsity Focus Live with former sports guy Greg Hammond and Jackson Sun sports editor Brandon Shields.
Welcome back into Varsity Focus Live. I'm glad I checked this song before I played it. On YouTube, it says Prince and the Revolution, Pop Life.
Yeah.
So obviously, I was going to play it.
Why are you playing Prince?
Well, he passed away today.
Well, Merle Haggard passed away last week, and you didn't play him.
Well, had you been running the board last week, Brandon, you could have played Merle Haggard.
I'm going to start running
Had you asked last week, we could have played Merle Haggard.
I'm going to start running the board.
But remember, who was it? Who's the guy? Queen of my double wide trailer? Help me
Sammy
out.
Kershaw.
I've played Sammy Kershaw several times on this show.
Yeah.
So the country music quota has been met.
No.
I was going for something else.
We're in West Tennessee. The country music quota is way higher than what you think.
I wonder if Jim Steele is familiar with Sammy Kershaw.
I don't think so, but maybe.
Well, if Kershaw played baseball, Steele...
he's familiar with Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah.
Jim Steele, the man of steel, a former star of 96.5 talk radio in the afternoons, now in Camden. How you doing, sir?
Jim, are you there? Come on, Brandon.
Jim, are you there? Jim?
Jim, are you there?
Do you have his mic on?
Yes. See, phone.
Okay.
This is karma. You were picking on Brandy, and now our phone doesn't work.
I wasn't picking on Brandy.
Yeah, you kind of were.
How was I picking on her?
Well, because you knew it wasn't Northside, but you called her anyway.
That's not picking on her. That's just proving to our listeners that I tried.
If Brandy calls back, are we going to put her on live?
Yeah.
Okay. Because there's like the 4-second delay in case she's upset.
There's not a delay. We found that out a few minutes ago. Okay.
While we're waiting for Jim, let's remind everyone who we will visit with later tonight. We're going to talk with Matthew Gillespie of the TSSAA, and actually this conversation about the possibility of expanding the classification in basketball. We're going to talk to Ahmad Hicks. He's a new sports anchor at WBBJ here in Jackson. Chris McNeil, former Western Kentucky basketball player, now has opened up his recruitment. He's going to talk to us about that. We're going to have Donnie Nicky on in just about 20 minutes. Yep. He's the new head coach of the Northside Indians.
Mm-hmm. Football.
And, we're going to talk Drew Hayes.
Right.
Can we do that now?
Yes, we got Jim on.
Hello, Jim.
Are we having school tomorrow?
Jim, are you familiar with Sammy Kershaw?
I am very much so. Yeah, I used to be a country DJ.
Your favorite Kershaw song?
In the 90s?
Well, no, not in the 90s, but I know. I dated a girl that was big into country music too, so I know who Sammy Kershaw is, Kathy Mattea, all those guys. Keith Shelton. Listen, I can go back. So anyway. Okay. But, I know who Sammy Kershaw is. I love that little smirk he has on his face all the time. But anyway.
But yeah, Jim, I was hoping you would come on because one of the three big stories that's broken in West Tennessee in the last 40 hours or so, the first one was Drew Hayes, McKenzie product, former Bethel baseball player, former Vanderbilt baseball player, finally got his call up to the big leagues yesterday. Right, and it was what a momentous day it was for that young man. He was on my show yesterday afternoon, and I don't know if you heard the interview or not, but but boy, I tell you what, you could just tell that he was humbled by the whole experience, and it wasn't just, the way he put it, he said it wasn't about me, it's about all the people who supported me, and it wasn't just McKenzie. He was talking about, carrying the flag of the major leagues for all of West Tennessee, and I thought that kind of speaks of what kind of individual Drew is. I mean, he really is
a lot of people say, "Oh, that's a bunch of rah crap," but that's really how Drew is. I mean, he was one of those kids that means what he says, and that's exactly he meant what he was talking about. He said it was very emotional yesterday, thinking about all the people that got him to that point, including Mom and Pops, Coach Comer, Coach Smith, Coach Maddox at McKenzie High School, and all the folks at Bethel and Vanderbilt, and all the people that supported him in the minor leagues. So, it was a momentous day for him, and I'm really happy for him. Even if he wasn't a Red, I was going to be pleased for him.
He was at the AA team for the Reds down in Pensacola here in the Southern League, and they come up and play Jackson 1 or 2 times a year. How long was he down there?
He was down there for about 2.5 years, and as he says, he was down there longer than he really wanted to be, but if you're going to be stuck somewhere, Pensacola's a pretty nice place to get stuck. So, and he knows my cousin better than I do now. So, anyway. But, yeah, he was down there for about 3 years, and he finally made it right around the first week of last season. They pretty much said your flight leaves in an hour. Pack up and go. You've got to go to Louisville tonight. And he was on the next plane, and he got rocked pretty hard that first night in Louisville, but, he was still having jet lag, I guess. I don't know. And he said once he got there, he calmed down and everything was fine. But such is life of minor leagues.
I'm planning on talking to him tomorrow for a story sometime this weekend in the paper. But, you talk to him a whole lot more than I do. I keep up with him through social media. And I remember over the years, particularly when it took him nearly 3 full seasons to get past the AA level, and and he spent, a little more than a year at AAA. Every now and then we'd have some sports fans who would call me or see me out somewhere and start talking, and they would start to doubt if Drew was going to make it to this point. Was he always pretty optimistic about that and just working toward the next opportunity, or did he ever have those times where he was like, oh shoot, this may not happen?
When we talked, he said, I'm just going to go. I'm not going to worry about what may or may not happen. I'm just going to go out there and try to pitch the best that I can pitch, be the best pitcher I can be, or for my particular team, whoever it is. He really didn't worry about that. But it had to play on his mind a little bit, I would think. But he was a study in perseverance. I mean, he played in the Dominican leagues each of the last 2 seasons. He played in the fall leagues in Arizona. So he kept his nose to the grind and decided, look, I'm going to do this or I'm not, but I'm going to tell them that I'm going to make them tell me I'm not welcome anymore. That was kind of his attitude.
Jim, talk about, I guess, from a poetic standpoint. This is the 10th anniversary of McKenzie's championship run in baseball.
I am Sam. Oh, you don't want that kind of poetry.
No.
There was an old man. Never mind.
Unless you want to drop a couple of lyrics for us, but no.
Yeah. Yes, 10 years ago, the McKenzie went 29-8. They beat Forrest in the state championship, and Drew Hayes had a phenomenal year. I think he won 16 games, had a 0.62 ERA, struck out 99 batters that year, drew a couple of no-hitters. It was funny. They won the district, and they got to the regional championship, and they lost to Huntington. And Coach Maddox was Coach Jeremy Maddox, then the McKenzie baseball coach,
right,
was putting together a checklist of things that he thought was accomplishable, in a word, achievable for this team. He said, with a district, we can do that. Beat Huntington, we can do that. And of course, Huntington's one of McKenzie's principal rivals.
Right.
Win sub-state, win a state championship. He said, I think we can do all that. He forgot to put down win a regional championship. And he got beat by Huntington. But they went down to Adamsville, and if I'm not mistaken, I think they beat them 5-1, beat them pretty solidly. And that's when you sort of got an idea that this team was on its way. I mean, they really played well, and they had a little depth. It wasn't just Drew, but Drew was, he was one of the guys. He was the starter and the stopper. He could hit, he could pitch. I remember when that first game, he pitched 6 innings against Trousdale County, I believe it was. He pitched 6 innings. They brought in Justin Wilson. So you go from a guy where you're throwing 95 miles an hour to a guy who you need a butterfly net to hit his pitches. It's so slow. And they couldn't deal with it. McKenzie wins that first game. And then next thing you know, they got other guys that came in and did the job. When you have somebody like that on your team, it takes a lot of pressure off of everybody else to perform because you know he's there and he's going to have your back. And that was the kind of player that Drew was. He made everybody around him better.
Jim, do you know how soon you'll be able to go up and watch the Reds in person now?
Well, there's a lot of things in between here and there before I go up there. We talked about going this weekend and still haven't ruled it out, but I'm going to try to get up there and see him pretty soon. I've already talked to the Reds PR people and gotten in touch with them, so it shouldn't be a problem. But yeah, I'm going to try to get up there and see him. Anytime I can get back to Cincinnati is good. I went to college there, so my first year and a half anyway. So it's always fun to go back and visit, and see how it's grown, like any other place.
So I work at Southside with a real weird guy right now. I mean, he's a weird character. I mean, he's a strange guy. Tyler Reeder, maybe you know him. Maybe you know him. Reeder. Hey, give me something on Reeder. Give me something on Reeder.
Reeder, I want to tell you football.
Get out of here, Brandon.
Okay. He was Reeder. I tell you what, that guy was. He was a freshman on the high school football team. This is when Drew, I believe, was a sophomore.
Uh-huh.
And there was a guy that played center for McKenzie. Got hurt in a four-wheeler accident. Well, it wasn't about four-wheelers and athletes. Mm-hmm. It was like, I bet all of us have covered 3 or 4 guys that have been hurt in a four-wheeler accident in season. I don't know what's going on there, but
yeah.
Anyway, he was one of those guys. I think he had an elbow or shoulder injury or something, and they put in Reeder as a freshman center. And Reeder said, "This is my spot. I'm not giving it back. If you get healthy and you come back, you're playing somewhere else." And Reeder never gave up that spot. And he was a junior and named captain of that football team that had guys like Derek Carr or Drew Hayes and people like that on it. So Tyler Reeder was a hard-nosed kid. We always had this joke about in baseball about making a play when he was doing some bench warming back in the state championship there. He always would say, "I'm doing clutch bench warming today." He had a great sense of humor and a great attitude when it came to playing game of football, baseball, whatever it was he was doing. And his senior year, I remember he was playing baseball, and he was having a hard time of it. And we talked. I said, "Tyler, shorten up your stance." He said, "Man, that feels so awkward." I said, "Yeah, but they're throwing high to you, and you're swinging under everything." Next thing you know, he hit 6 home runs. He almost gave me his offensive MVP plaque.
Oh, wow.
No, I mean, he was something else. Reeder, you asked him to do something, and he was going to do it, and you could always count on him.
Yeah, we love him at Southside. He's a great addition to the faculty. Also coaching track the last couple of years, so the kids really like him and respect him too.
Yeah, I'm sure they do, and you're going to get the best from Reeder anywhere you go. And he's comes from good people too. I know his mom. My sister used to babysit his mom. That tells you why I need to retire. But anyway, yeah, he's Tyler. You can't beat him. And he and Drew are very close. Drew counts on him as one of his very best friends.
Getting back to Drew, he didn't get in the game last night for his MLB debut. I mean, is he slated to get in tonight?
Well, when you're in a relief role, you just never know. The Reds, if you're a reliever, you got a chance to play if you're in Cincinnati because none of the pitchers have gone more than 6 2/3 innings. I think one guy went 7.
Yeah.
But so he's going to have an opportunity to pitch. And yesterday he was warming up in the bullpen when the Reds and the Rockies were tied at 5. And his best friend from the minor leagues, Tucker Barnhart, got the base hit to win the game in the bottom of the 9th. And Drew went up to him after the game yesterday and said, "I see what it is. You didn't want to catch me today, so you end this thing early, huh?" But then Drew told him, "I appreciate it. My mom and dad couldn't be here. I wanted them to be here for my debut, so you helped prolong that." So he may get in tonight. You just never know. It's like when you go see him in the minor leagues. I don't know how many times I went to minor league games where Drew was involved before I finally saw him. I think it was like 8 or 9 games
Wow.
Before he finally got in. So you just never know. It's a roll of the dice.
All right. Well, Jim, before we let you go, remind the listeners if they want to listen to you where and when they can do that.
Same time slot as I had before, 4 to 6 p.m. Central Time on WRJB 95.9. It's the Press Box. The same type of show. I think it's gotten better as we've gone along.
Much better.
It's been a lot of fun, and so thank you for saying it. The check's in the mail.
Appreciate that.
But anyway, it's been great fun, and we've had a lot of great guests on there, as we always have had with either our incarnation. So anyway, and I always appreciate talking to you guys and being with you guys too. It's always a great joy.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on and giving us a little bit of insight into Drew. Come to think of it, I've been here 8 years. I don't think I've ever talked to him in person.
Really?
Yeah. Had a few phone calls, messaged a lot on Facebook and Twitter, but I was gonna interview him after a game at the Generals Park a year or two ago, and something happened that we weren't able to. So.
Oh well. Hey, blame it on Chris Harris.
All right. Yeah, that sounds good.
So anyway, Drew's he's a class act. He's a one-of-a-kind guy. And I'll never forget some of the things he did in high school. Like a 15-year-old leading a 13-play, 87-yard drive for a touchdown to get them into the semifinals. I mean, how many 15-year-olds would be able to do that? He was only 15 years and 6 weeks when he did it. So that tells what kind of kid he is. So
how many 50-year-olds can remember that?
What? How many what now?
How many 50-year-olds can remember stuff like that with that much detail?
50-year-olds?
Yeah, or however old.
It's been a while since I've been 50, pal.
All right, tell me this, Jim. Tell me about how the baseball game between McKenzie and Dresden went in 2001.
In 2000, I wasn't covering them then, so I have no idea.
Get out of here then.
I'm gone.
All right, thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
All right, bud. Y'all have a good night. Have a good show.
See ya.
Jim Steele.
I like Jim.
I do too. A wealth of knowledge.
Yeah. And that's what I was trying to allude to there, that last question. I mean, I can just bring up, hey, tell me about the Brewston-Huntington football game from 1993. Oh, well, blah, 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 blah. And, he'll talk for 20 minutes about how that game was won or lost by one of the teams.
Brandon, this is Varsity Focus Live, show number 41.
Uh-huh.
It's been a pretty big show thus far.
It is, and we hadn't even had the guest on yet.
Our next guest, Donnie Nicky, anything you want to tell the listeners before we cut to a quick commercial break?
He's the new Northside football coach. We'll probably talk about that, maybe talk some Titans, some Ohio State, maybe his last year at USJ, may talk about that a little bit.
I guess, I don't want to say negative, but have I been negative?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, as negative as I've been, I do want to say that we're fortunate to have him in Madison County. I mean, we really are. When you look at his resume and what he's done, and the fact that he's not from Madison County, his wife's not from Madison County.
I thought his wife was.
Well, she was from Nashville.
No, she's a USJ graduate.
Oh, is she really?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how we got him.
Yeah.
Either way, we are fortunate to have someone with his resume.
Like his wife. Her name escapes me. I guess we'll get it when we get her on. But
sure.
She was a member of the USJ girls basketball team that made it to Murfreesboro.
Right. I realized I was a little bit of a pessimist initially, but I do want to say it is cool to have someone with that background.
Oh, yeah.
Here, coaching our young men.
Yeah.
This is Varsity Focus Live, show number 41. My Moto X is not dead, but it doesn't have the song I quite want to play, so we're just going to go to a cold break, Brandon. Is that okay with you? Unless you want to sing some Kershaw on the way up.
I was going to say, I don't know any Prince to sing, so I'm good.
Purple Rain.
I don't know it.
When Doves Cry.
Don't know it.
You stay, they go. HTP Pest Control.
When pests are your problem, HTP Termite and Pest Control is your solution. Their services include pest control inside and out, termite lifetime warranties with the proven Centricon system, and moisture barriers for crawl spaces. But as good as their services are, the main reason for calling HTP Termite and Pest Control is how they value their customers. HTP offers convenience in the scheduling of their services, payment options like bank drafts, all credit cards accepted, and they can now accept online payments at htppest.com. Call 1-800-836-8941 today and let HTP show you just why they're not the same old pest control company. 1-800-836-8941. HTP Termite and Pest Control.
You stay, they go. HTP Pest Control.
When that hunger pain just won't go away, stop by Wendy's in Huntington, Paris, or Martin. Wendy's has the all-new Dave's Hot and Juicy that will fill the heartiest of appetites. Don't forget to top it off with a Frosty Shake, or Frosty Float. Take your hunger to Wendy's in Huntington, Paris, or Martin before or after the game. They're open late to serve you. That's Wendy's in Huntington, Paris, and Martin. Take your hunger to Wendy's.
When people leave one job for another, they usually take their personal stuff along with them. And yet, millions of people still leave their 401k behind. Fortunately, Edward Jones can help you take control of your money. We'll explain your options and, if appropriate, help you roll over your 401k without paying taxes or penalties. To learn more, contact me, Nick Priddy, your Huntington Edward Jones financial advisor on the Court Square. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Since 1823, Union University has been characterized by both its academic excellence and its Christian commitment. One of the top private universities in the nation, Union is widely recognized for its academic quality and exceptional value. In a close-knit learning community, Union prepares students to think, to create, and to excel in top graduate schools and professions around the world. Give us one day. Come experience Union for yourself.
Welcome back to Varsity Focus Live with former sports guy Greg Hammond and president of the McNairy County Bear Bryant Fan Club, Brandon Shields.
That was just disastrous.
Did you shoot the band?
Am I responsible for that?
I know it wasn't me, dude.
You know what coaches tell you, though? If you're going to mess up, if you're going to make a mistake, you need to make a mistake at 100 miles an hour. Reckless abandon when you make a mistake.
I mean, that was 100 miles an hour. I mean,
does that make it okay?
That was 100 miles an hour into a brick wall.
But does that make it okay?
Well, I mean, you were trying hard.
Yeah. Why don't we ask a coach?
Yeah, we could ask a coach. The newest coach in rural West Tennessee sports, Coach Donnie Nickey, got the moved here last year as a part of the football coaching staff at University School of Jackson. Helped them to the state semifinals in Division II this past fall. Parlayed that experience into the position that was announced today as the new head coach at Northside High School. Coach, how you doing, sir?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Well, thanks for coming on. We spent the first little while of this show talking a little bit about you and just kind of your background coming in with Ohio, growing up in Ohio, playing at Ohio State, then coming to Tennessee. So exactly, I know you were part of the championship team at Ohio State. What years did you play at Ohio State?
1998 was my first year. I redshirted when I started 99, 2002.
Okay. So you were a senior captain on that championship team then?
I was.
Before we get to talking about Northside, that's just something I've always wanted to talk about with you, just kind of that whole season and stuff, because that win over Miami in that Fiesta Bowl was one of the great, or what I think, maybe I'm wrong, one of the great upsets in college football history, particularly in my lifetime, because they were coming into that game as one of the best teams ever. They hadn't lost in like 2 years, and none of those wins were close. Just talk about just kind of y'all's mentality going into that game. Do you remember? Were y'all looking at Miami like the big juggernaut that y'all were going to need to play the games of your life against, or was it just another game for you?
No, we knew the reputation, and we knew what everybody thought. So we did the work and studied the film and got them to found some weaknesses. And that team, their last day was we were really close.
Mm-hmm.
And through the season, building and the locker room became really, really tight, and we started winning games that, we were underdogs, winning games that were close, and the faith that we had in each other and the trust to the point where, okay, what's the next challenge? Like, there's nothing that can stop us if we all do our jobs like we know we can and play to our best of our ability. And it proved right. And that's happened a few other times. In 2008, the Titans team was the same tight-knit, close friendships, relationships, and we went 13-3, got stopped in playoffs, but it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned being a part of the Titans in 2008. Did you spend your whole NFL career in Tennessee?
Yes.
Okay.
For 8 seasons in Tennessee.
Yeah, I knew it was 8 seasons. I couldn't remember if you'd gone somewhere else before, for a year or two before you went to Tennessee. And tell us about how you wound up in Jackson, because it's not really a haven for former Titans to go live.
Well, my wife, Katie Nicky, her name is Katie Brush. She grew up in Jackson, went to University School Jackson. I met her. She was on a volleyball scholarship at MTSU. Met her in Nashville while I was training at D1. And she got into, after my career ended, she started working at a fitness studio called Pure Bar. And she was always into athletics, but after our first baby, lost the weight real quick, just liked the women's only, well, it's not women's only, but mostly women, the fellowship that she got there and the relationships that formed at this Pure Bar were something special, and it was growing. It's a growing franchise, and her dream was to bring it to her hometown. And in this past summer, she got approved to open a franchise in Jackson, and it'll be open probably in 2-3 weeks over on Thompson Farms, Union University Drive.
Okay.
And
yeah, there in front of us.
That's what brought us here.
Yeah. Okay. All right, and then you spent last season with USJ coaching defensive backs and safeties there with the Bruins. Then you made it to Northside. Just kind of, we talked a little bit about this this afternoon. Tell us about just kind of how that conversation went with the administration there at Northside that wound up with this announcement being made.
Well, I think I shared with them my philosophy of coaching and football, and didn't get into a lot of technical stuff. I'm pretty well versed in defense and special teams, but offense, there's kind of a gap. So I need help there, and got a lot to learn there. But it's more about getting the best out of each player and growing that family atmosphere to a point where everybody's giving their all for each other, not for anything other than for the love of and brotherhood of a football team.
Mm-hmm.
And that can happen when it happens on a consistent basis. Surprising things happen.
Right.
Coach Nicky, Greg Hammond here. I actually got to meet you briefly. It was voting day and where I live. I voted at one of the schools there, North Parkway, and I got to meet you there on the way in. So I don't know if you remember me, but
I do.
That's cool. Coach, I'm sure there were a ton of resumes sent to Northside High School or the school system. Obviously, I guess it's easy when you have when you got the NFL on your resume, you got Ohio State on your resume, all that's great, but everyone still has to at some point sell themselves. So how did you sell yourself as a rookie head coach? Hey, give me a shot. How did you do that? What were your selling points?
Well, I think the biggest thing is really that I have the kids' best interest at heart, and that I'm there for them. I want to get the best out of them and push them to their potential. And that really doesn't take the paper experience in the long term. I mean, I've been on winning teams. I know how to win. I know what it's like in the locker room. I'm not as well versed as that, as what goes on in the coach's room. So I think being able to relate to them, motivate, and the results that I've seen throughout my career speak for themselves.
Very good. Donnie Nicky joining us on Varsity Focus Live. You probably know him as a Tennessee Titan, or if you follow outside of the SEC, his time with Ohio State. He is now the head coach of the Northside Indians. I always find it fascinating the different opinions you'll get when guys who have played their last game, whether they choose to stick with football or get out of football. So, for example, Al Wilson, saw him a few years ago at a Milan event, and asked him, "Hey, Al, you ever thought about coaching?" And Al was like, "No, I've done that all my life. I want to do something else." But there's some guys that they just have that passion, that scratch. They can't itch. They just love football. So talk about, Donnie, for you, what keeps you around the game? Because so many people opt to try something different. So talk about your motivation, your passion for football.
I tried to get out. I got into finance. I thought being a stockbroker sounded cool, and other people would think that sounded cool, but that team atmosphere, being on a team, a part of a team, and really it's a family. I yearned for that. I needed it. And especially that I had so many coaches pour so much love into me and time and commitment that when I started to do it in Nashville on a part-time basis, I would dip my toe in, because I didn't want to commit to the time that it takes to be a great coach.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until this past season that I came to grips with this is what I'm being called to do, not what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than that. It became something greater than just a job or what I'm doing. It's about who I am and then how I can help younger men realize the same thing and chase the dreams that I've chased.
Mm-hmm.
Donnie, can you talk about maybe some of the men in your life who have had an influence on you? I know certainly people will be familiar with some of the professional names as far as, Titans coaches, Ohio State's coaches, and things of that nature. But maybe some names we wouldn't know that have really had a profound impact on you.
My high school coaches, Barry Blackstone and Paul Jenny, it was about attitude and having the right kind of attitude and bringing it every day. And then I got into college, and a man named John Tenuta, the coach. He was recently at Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
He really taught me the technical aspects of secondary play and defensive schemes and blitzing, man coverage, just things that aren't always taught, even at the Big Ten, SEC, Power 5 level.
Mm-hmm.
Just technique-wise things. And then John Cooper was the head coach. Jim Tressel really kind of brought the non-football spiritual foundation aspect into the focus. And I saw that benefit of creating that environment and how that changed our team.
Indians. Brandon, you know. I'm a Southside guy. You know that.
Are you?
Yeah.
I was not aware of that.
I mean, you know that. Mm-hmm. But obviously, you do want to see your neighbors and your in-town rivals do well. So pulling for the Indians and pulling for Coach Nicky, he really, when you think about it, you think about pressure in town, the pressure's going to be on. Simply because of where Tab Val has that program, where he had the program.
I see what you're saying, but I also question that.
Really? Is this an argument for after the break?
Can we have it before we talk to Chris?
No, we need to talk to Chris McNeil. I don't want to keep him waiting.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have it after the conversation, Chris.
All right, so when we come back, we'll visit with Chris McNeil. Before toss the break, just kind of explain to everybody his situation.